Hi, my name's Anna Pendrich and I'm here to tell you about the new Load Documents feature we have added to Business Space for version 8 of WebSphere Service Registry and Repository. This is something that you could do using the web UI that we already have, but we've moved it into Business Space to make it nicer and a more cohesive experience. It comes predefined in some of the templates that we ship with Business Space, so you'll find this is an action in the Actions widget for the SOA governance space, the development space, and the operations space. But you can add it to any action widget that you have in any space. So you can add it to the templates or your own pre-configured space. I will log in and show you what it looks like. So here we are in the SOA governance space, and you can see that in the Actions widget here we've got a new action, Load Documents. I'm going to go to the business space where this action isn't defined by default, and I'll show you how to add it. So on this space you can see that it's not here in the Actions widget, so as an administrator you would edit the page, and then edit the settings of the action widget. And we'll scroll down, create a new action, and call it Load Documents. And then in the action type, you go and select the Load Documents action. It doesn't matter what you can call it whatever you like, but I'm just calling it Load Documents for simplicity. So we click OK. It's been added here. You can move it up and down the list to show how it will be displayed in the action widget, but I'll leave it so it will show at the end. I'll save and close that. And here we can see there's this new action here. So I'll just finish editing this page. There it is. Here's our action. So I'm going to go back to the SOA governance business space so I can show you loading some documents. I could have done it from the business one as well, but this one's just lovelier. So I'm going to click Load Documents. This will open a wizard. I can either load documents from my local file system or from a remote location by specifying a URL. I'll show both of those. The default settings are that this is going to automatically detect the type of document that I am loading, but if I don't want it to automatically detect it, I can select a specific type from these predefined types here. I can also add a description and a version. So we'll show you this. Start with something simple. Hello World XML file. There's not much in there, so it's quite a small file. I won't bother with a description, I don't have to. I don't have to include a version either, but I will this time. So I'm going to go for version 1, and I'll click Next. This gives me a summary of what's about to happen, so it hasn't loaded anything yet, but it shows me that I've got an XML file here, so it's automatically detected that this is an XML document. It's got it ready to load. If I wanted to go back and add that description that I didn't add before, can do it here, or if I want to change the version number. If I realise this was the wrong file, I wanted to pick something else, I can click Replace and go and find something different. Or if I think I actually didn't really want to load this at all, I can just remove it. I can also add some more files now if I wanted to load more than one file at once, but for now, just do this. Click Finish. It's very quick because it's an XML file, not much to do there. It shows me a summary of what was loaded, and if I click on the link here, it will take me to the details view of that. So you can see that I've loaded this document. There's not a lot of details here, but there it is, it's in. So I'm going to pop back to the overview panel and we'll load something else. So click on my Load Documents again. This time I'm going to just show you what happens if you explicitly set a type. So I'm just going to load an XSD file here, and I will tell it it's an XSD file. See if it believes me. Give this a version. Again, don't have to, just for fun, and we'll click Next. So it hasn't disagreed with me, thinks it's an XSD document, it's ready to load. I'm just going to load that. Again, I can click on it and go to the details. Let's do some more loading of documents. So this time I'm going to go for something a bit more exciting. I'll go for something that's got some dependencies. So I'm going to try and add a WSRR document. So I'll start here, my WSDL document. In it is defined that it needs an XSD document, so let's see what happens when we try and load this. I'll leave it to automatically detect the type from now on. Give this a version number, because I like version numbers. Click Next. So in the documents being loaded summary screen, it's realised that we're missing something that's required here. There's something else that's the dependency of this. So it tells me the name of the file, says it's required, and gives me the option to go and add it so that I can load it straight away. So I click Add. Here it's giving me a summary of the file that I'm looking for. I'm going to keep loading it from the file system, so I need to go and find the account creation schema XSD file. Click Open. Get that version. I can click OK. And here we can see that those dependencies have been resolved and everything is ready to load. So the Finish button has been enabled and I can finish. It's loaded my WSDL file and my XSD file here. Again, I could click on these links and it will go to the details, but I don't want to, so I'm just going to close. So now I'm going to show you loading that file again. Only this time we're going to see what happens, because it already knew that it already has the XSD file loaded into the system. So here we are. This is the second time we're loading this one in, so I'm going to call it 2. And we can see that this has detected that there is a dependency of the XSD file, but that we already in our repository have a version of this, version 1 that we loaded in last time. So we could just go ahead and use that, and we can finish straight away and load in the WSDL, and it will link to that XSD file. Or if we don't want to do that, I can go and replace it. So actually, I want to replace it with version 2. It's the same file in reality, but I'm going to call it version 2 here. And then finish that. So now you can see it says version 2 up here, and it's ready to load. I can add descriptions and stuff as before. Just finish, and that should all load. That's done. Close. I'll show you a third time. This is very exciting, this file. We've got our WSDL again. Call this version 3. And here you can see the message is a little bit different. There are multiple matches in the repository, so the Finish button isn't enabled because the document wizard isn't sure which one we want, so we're going to have to go and select and tell it which one to use. So we go into the selection, and I can see that I can select version 1 or version 2, or if I don't want either of those, I can go and load a different document, or I could just go back and cancel everything if I wanted to. So I'm going to choose version 1 here, click OK. I can change that at some point by replacing, going back and going, no, actually I wanted version 2. That's fine, it's not a problem. And then when I'm ready, and when I'm happy with what I've got, I just finish. It will load those back in. This has only loaded one document because I already had the XSD document in my registry, so I didn't need to load it again. So the next thing I'd like to try is loading another document. This one is going to have a mixture. It's going to be a zip file with a mixture of file types in it, just to show you how this document wizard handles that. So I'm going to load a zip file, leave it automatically detecting the type, click on the version, and click Next. So it's gone through the zip file and taken the files that are inside the zip file as the things that we want to load. That's what happens with the automatic version. It's found that there's just a normal document in here, there's a policy, there's an XML document, but then also we've got a WSDL file that pulls in another one, so we need to go and add that in the normal way. And that one also has a dependency, so I'm going to go and add that. Now I've got loads of things, they're all ready to load, all green, my Finish button is enabled, so I'm going to finish. And here we have it, it's loaded everything. I can click on these links and go directly to any of them. That is fine. I will just close that. If instead I wanted to load that directly as a zip file and not let it split everything up, I could open it and then choose other as my type. If I choose zip file, it's going to look inside the zip file because it knows it's a zip file and see what's there. If I choose other, it should just leave it alone. You can see it's just one thing, so you can keep the thing as a whole if you wish. Just load that in, it's really quick. Next thing I'd like to show is instead of choosing something from the file system, we're going to try it from a remote location. So this field has changed now to ask me for a URL. Here I have a zip file from the information center about WebSphere service registry and repository. So I'm just going to take that as a location. Just put that URL in the URL field. Get version. Next. That particular thing was a zip file with loads of different files in it, so it's worked out what's in there because I had it on automatically detect, so I just finished that. And those things have all been loaded from the URL, not from my file system. So the other way that we can launch this Load Documents wizard is actually directly through a details view. So I'm going to go to the details view of a service that I've already created. So here we are in the details view. I'm going to go into my version. It's my service version. I'm going to edit the details of it because I want to add a document to it. So in the edit screen, if I go down to the artifact section, I have this add document link. So if I click here, then there's an option to find something to add, or I can, so it's going to list the WSDLs I have available here because they're the type of document that I can add to this point. But if I want to load something, I can just click load, and that's going to open the load documents action wizard that we've seen straight from the action widget before. So if I just find a WSDL, just take that one, open, get version because it's always nice, and then it's still found the other versions of the XSD file as we've done before. You can just select one, finish, I can put finish here, and that's been added as an artifact here to my details view by launching a wizard directly from details. That's it, that's the end of the presentation that's demonstrated what the load document wizard can do. I hope you find it useful. Thank you very much.